When will there be enough women on the court? And my answer is, when there are 9. I ask no favor for my sex. All I ask of our brethren is that they take their feet off our necks.
After nearly 30 years on the Supreme Court bench and 87 years of life, Supreme Court Justice, feminist icon, trailblazer, and progressive shero Ruth Bader Ginsburg died after battling cancer for decades. Almost immediately, millions of people all over America mourned the loss and celebrated her across party lines, and the Supreme Court became a vigil for those who loved and looked up to her. Unfortunately, what her death means not just for this country or the Supreme Court, but also politically, is something we're going to have to dig into because we are less than 50 days away from an election. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has already said whatever nominee the president puts forth will get a vote on the Senate floor. A much different tune than 2016.
The next president, whoever that may be, is going to be the person who chooses the next Supreme Court justice.
And President Trump has made it clear that he will be nominating someone, tweeting, quote, "We were put in this position of power and importance to make decisions for the people who so proudly elected us. We have this obligation without delay." There are so many political layers to this, so I wanted to hit up one of my colleagues, Chief Washington Correspondent for Politico, Ryan Lizza.
In 2016, we had an open seat, Antonin Scalia dies. And you had a lot of Republican senators then saying that during an election year, there should not be a Supreme Court justice seat filled. That seems to have changed a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's clearly hypocritical. The way that McConnell is explaining it is, well, Republicans have the White House and the Senate. That's as far as the argument goes. In other words, they have the votes. The voters in 2018 in the midterms gave them a Republican Senate.
Susan Collins of Maine, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, both of them have already been given this kind of hypothetical. Yep. And they said they would wait until 2021 to, with a new president and possibly a new Senate to do anything.
Yeah.
Who else are we kind of looking out for and watching that kind of hold a lot of power in this moment?
People are talking about Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney did vote for the president to be removed from office. I could see him arguing this either way. I could see him making a process argument saying this is a bad time to do this. Or I could see him saying, you know what, this is a conservative justice that the president has nominated in line with my values, I'll vote yes. So I think Romney's someone to watch. And then, people like Cory Gardner get some attention. And anyone who is in a difficult race where they're trying to woo suburban moderates that have abandoned Trump and they need to distance themselves from Trump.
Conservatives love the Supreme Court. They think about it all the time. It's a reason why they go vote. There's an argument that President Trump can try to convince Mitch McConnell to keep the seat open as a reason to get people to come out and vote for him.
There's going to be some tension between McConnell and Trump on this. If Trump is convinced that waiting until after Election Day will help him get reelected, if he's convinced of that, and we don't know if he's convinced of that, but there are good arguments for it. If he's convinced of that, he will pressure the Senate to wait. McConnell, knowing what we know about McConnell, he will want this seat filled, even if it may mean in the short term that Trump loses. Right? I think he would be willing to take that risk if Trump loses, and McConnell loses his majority in the Senate. That will clearly be interpreted by most people as a rejection of the nominee, but Trump and McConnell will still be in power through January, and they could do this in a lame duck. We already have a lame duck period that is likely to be, a little turbulent. People are worried about cooperation between an incoming administration and the outgoing administration if Biden wins. People are worried about vote counts and vote irregularities because of all the increase in mail-in votes. So this throwing in the replacement of Ginsburg in the lame duck would be pretty wild.
Conservatives have been the group that care most about the courts, and we've seen that always in history. But if there was one person, not just one Supreme Court justice, one person whose death could energize Democrats and make them see the importance of the Supreme Court, and more importantly, how that plays into an election, it is Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
I do think the analysis that this is more of a motivator for the left than the right is correct, and for a couple of reasons. One that you mentioned, that this is the iconic nature of who she is, and then look, the issue that Democrats will drive at with any Trump nominee will be abortion.
Yeah.
And he's already got a lot of weakness among suburbanites, who kind of were okay with Trump in 2016, but don't like him anymore. And that constituency is not pro-life. So he's got pro-lifers for sure, and he's got anyone who doesn't like a lot of stuff about Trump, but likes his court picks. Those people are all locked in for Trump now. There aren't many more of those to get. So we'll have to see some polling in coming days to see if this is true. But right now, I buy the argument that this is more of a motivator for Democrats.